Hey everyone, how's it going? For today's video, I'm proud to present an exclusive opportunity to get up close and personal with one of the most artistically engineered cars ever created, the Pagani Huayra. This is going to be an in-depth, comprehensive review of the Huayra. We'll fire it up, go over the powertrain and performance data, how it's made, the history behind it, in addition to its use of innovative materials and build techniques, all while taking a closer look at every unique aspect throughout the interior as well as exterior. Before we begin, I'd like to extend a special thanks to the generous owner of this Huayra for allowing me the filming opportunity. I'd also like to give a shout out to Prestige Imports, Audi, Lamborghini, Pagani, and Lotus located in Miami, Florida for taking care of introductions. For more info in their dealership, including contact info and current inventory, feel free to check out their website provided in the description box below. And so, without further ado, let's go ahead and hop on in, fire it up, and let it run. The Huayra is entirely bespoke. Buyers can customize pretty much every aspect from a wide spectrum of exterior and interior colors to exposed carbon fiber bodywork. The gull-wing doors are released by a small aluminum toggle lever within the handle pocket. This example is finished in Bronzo Aymara with a supple caramel-colored Huayra leather interior, decorated by plenty of high-gloss carbon fiber and aluminum throughout. The Huayra's highly detailed ignition key is entirely milled from aluminum. Measuring about 4 inches, it's composed of 2 separate pieces that are held together by 2 locating pins and what feels like a built-in magnet. Each key costs Pagani about $3,700 to make. Together they form a miniature model of the Huayra. The main fob incorporates your lock and unlock buttons and traditional key if needed. The nose, which easily unclips to reveal the ignition key, can be kept secure by placing it on a small mounting bracket in the center console. So to start it up, take the back end of the key fob, insert it in the dash and flick it to the right to go. Direction is provided up front thanks to a rack and pinion steering setup with speed proportional power assist. It's all routed through a carbon fiber 3-spoke multifunction steering wheel with soft, supple leather across the sides, grip bolsters up top that incorporate your horn, as well as a flat bottom race-inspired design. It is manually adjustable via that lever to the left-hand side of the carbon fiber steering column. The design of the relatively compact wheel is just one facet of many that boasts an incredible level of craftsmanship, from the single-piece milled aluminum casing that houses the multifunction controls and airbag cover to the color accent stitching and finish of the carbon components. Similar to designs employed with Ferrari and the latest Lamborghinis, the Huayra incorporates all of your essential driving controls on the steering wheel, from your turn signals and lighting to your wipers, including washer fluid, stability control, and driver information system, making sure everything is within reach and eliminating stalks altogether for a far cleaner layout. Power is sent to the rear wheels by a 7-speed automated manual gearbox with a robust AP Racing dual-plate clutch. Supplied by X-Track, the gearbox weighs just 211 pounds and is transversely mounted behind the differential so the engine sits closer to the rear wheels. Not only can it handle the Huayra's massive amount of torque, but it saves around 154 pounds, delivering shifting performance comparable to a dual-clutch gearbox. This balances the car even better as there's less weight residing over the rear overhang. And it's also one of the main reasons Pagani chose to go this route, as they claim the modest improvements in shifting times when using a dual-clutch transmission versus a single dual-plate clutch wouldn't have been worth the penalty in weight gain. The gear selector is entirely exposed so you can see all the linkages within. It's made of 67 individual pieces designed to give the sensation of rowing through a gated manual shifter, further highlighted by a delightful metallic clink with each gear change. You can leave it in automatic mode for relaxed cruising or shift it manually either via the selector below or the beautiful sculpted aluminum panels mounted just behind the steering wheel. So let's go ahead and flip on the carbon fiber housed bi-xenon projector headlamps, rear fog lamps, as well as the hazards. Your automatic windows are located by the toggles in the center console. To release the door, just pull back on that little red bullet-shaped lever and the door will swing open with ease. Now let's go ahead and check out a walk around of the exterior, going over some background, history, construction, and much more. When I first laid eyes on the Huayra, I was immediately taken aback. Anyone familiar with the Zonda knows that a Pagani isn't your typical supercar. Not only is the Huayra the first Pagani to be sold in the United States, but it's designed to meet and/or exceed rigorous safety and emission regulations around the world. With incredible attention to detail in design, purpose, and materials used, all you find yourself wanting to do is just stare at it. Over time, you begin to understand and appreciate all of the finer elements that really make a Pagani so special. Introduced back in 2011, the Huayra is an artist's dream come true, an engineering marvel entirely crafted by hand by a relatively small group of skilled workers at the Pagani headquarters near Modena, Italy. A process that takes months until the highest level of perfection is achieved. Without a doubt, Horacio Pagani, who founded Pagani Automobili Modena in 1992, has created one of the most important supercars of our time. Not necessarily in terms of raw performance, but his unique philosophical approach to building cars. Introduced in 1999, the Zonda C12 was the company's first supercar. Over the years, there were numerous derivatives and special editions of the Zonda, from roadsters to race cars, solidifying Pagani as one of the last independent car manufacturers that still builds cars in the classic way of doing things. The Huayra continues this legacy as a fully modern successor for the next generation. Opening either the front or rear clamshell is actually a two-person job. When the doors are closed, notice the leather strap accents on the body. They actually lead to belt buckles within the door jambs that have to be undone before you grab the red release handles on either side of the car. I don't imagine that it adds much to securing anything, but my gosh, that is wicked cool. From the brilliant carbon fiber work to the highly detailed mechanical components, everything is proudly on display as if it were meant to be a rolling automotive art gallery. The sections of body feel pretty light, it doesn't take much effort to open or close, and closing can be done by one person, which simultaneously engages the primary locks to secure the clamshell. You know, the ones that we released earlier by the red levers. At this point, you can refasten the buckles for that final touch of awesome. With the benefits in weight savings and strength, carbon fiber construction is becoming more and more common nowadays in terms of its wide range of uses. The Huayra takes things to the next level with 15 different types of carbon fiber, including a carbotanium central monocoque formed from a woven combination of carbon fiber and titanium mesh. 5 layers of the material, each measuring about 1 mm or 0.04 inches thick, are stacked to form the overall structure of the monocoque, then baked in an autoclave. It also combines some non-structural elements within the tub to limit the use of seemingly ancillary components. For example, the structures for the dash-mounted air vents are formed directly into the tub, negating the use of extra tubing or ductwork for the ventilation system, leading to a far cleaner and simpler design in addition to lessening overall vehicle weight. The use of carbon-titanium brings multiple advantages. In addition to being lighter than conventional fibers, it leads to a far stiffer and safer structure. The key lies within the titanium mesh. The material even gives off a very distinct metallic sheen in the sunlight. I've never seen anything quite like it, and it's very pretty. Bolting up to the tub are chromoly steel front and rear subframes, a type of steel alloy that combines chromium and molybdenum that's significantly stronger and more rigid material than your typical steel. The subframes cradle many of the vehicle's vital components, including the powertrain and race-bred forged double wishbone suspension and pushrod actuated inboard Öhlins dampers. The dampers, brakes, and steering can be adjusted to the customer's taste for a truly tailored driving feel. Rather than being controlled electronically through a button like many of today's modern cars, the adjustment on the Huayra have to be done mechanically. Each wheel is forged entirely from a single block of aluminum, a process that takes about 5 days per wheel and further reduces unsprung weight. For an added price, you can even choose to finish the wheels in one of 3 colors: gold, black, or liquid silver. The curve of the spokes almost look like turbines with bright polished finish and Huayra logos etched in. The asymmetric layout consists of 19-inch wheels in front wrapped in two 55/35 high-performance tires and wider 20-inch wheels in the rear with three 35/30 tires. The Pirelli P-Zeros were custom developed for the Huayra, capable of withstanding speeds of 230 miles an hour and up to 1.5 G of lateral acceleration. The wheels are affixed using central locking hubs. Taming the insane performance, the car is equipped with 15 by 1.3 inch cross-drilled and ventilated carbon ceramic Brembo disc brakes at all 4 corners. They're clamped down by beefy monoblock calipers that can be had in a variety of colors and also feature the Pagani logo. 6 piston units in front and 4 piston units in the rear, able to bring the car to a stop from 62 miles an hour in just 2 seconds or from 124 miles an hour in 4.2 seconds. For added stability, the Huayra also features Bosch electronic stability programs, with sport and normal modes, in addition to full traction control and ABS. The stability control can individually apply the brakes to each wheel, helping the vehicle corner tighter. Pagani also claims the car is designed to understeer at the limit, making it a bit more predictable for less experienced drivers than tail-happy oversteer. Taking inspiration from the Zonda R, the suspension components are constructed from Avional, a type of high-strength copper-rich aluminum alloy that reduces weight by 30% when compared to traditional aluminum. All in all, the Huayra makes use of around 1,400 bolts made from grade 7 titanium, which originally cost Pagani about $80 each to produce. That's a little over $100 just for the bolts. In addition to the obvious weight savings they provide, knowing Pagani's obsession with the finest details, it's not surprising to see that each is engraved with the Pagani logo. 16 of those bolts are actually used in attaching the front and rear subframes to the monocoque. In the event of a side collision, dissipating energy is obviously vitally important. Therefore, the bolts are designed to break in certain areas, separating the passenger compartment from the afflicted front or rear section, in an effort of further isolating the occupants. With the carbon fiber tub, the vehicle has a dry weight of just 1,350 kilograms, or about 2,976 pounds, making it the lightest vehicle in its class. The name Huayra originates from Huayra Tata, god of wind to the Aymara people of the Andean highlands in South America. Therefore, it's easy to understand the relation when you closely examine the Huayra's bodywork, showing just how far Pagani went to create a form shaped by wind that is as functional as it is breathtaking. Wind can be a powerful thing, especially in automotive design. Pagani claims the Huayra combines the past with subtle element inspired from the Zonda, present with modern technology and build techniques, and future in a timeless interpretation of automotive art, perfected over 5 years, 8 scale models and 2 full-size models, in addition to the 5 test vehicles to yield the silhouette that you see today. Designed by Horacio Pagani himself, each car bears his signature just ahead of the rear wheels. The emblems, including the Huayra badge and the tail of the car, are each milled from a single piece of aluminum. The rear badge alone takes 24 hours to create. Up front, carbon fiber housed and titanium fastened bi-xenon headlamps were inspired by the Zonda R, with LED daytime running lamps in the lower clip. Elliptical design elements, quickly becoming a common trend with Pagani, can be seen just about everywhere, especially in the front and rear grills. Down in the lower front fascia are 3 radiators. A large, sharply angled central radiator takes air in and passes it through the integrated vents in the clamshell before sending it over the roofline, aiming towards front-end downforce. Twin smaller side radiators provide a ton of air to the intercoolers that sit over the cylinder heads. One of the most dramatic design elements are the fender-mounted carbon fiber mirrors. They almost look like flower bulbs sprouting from the car, but their shape was actually inspired by a woman's eye. They feature the tricolore pattern of the Italian flag on the far edges, green, white, and red. The Huayra has 2 main character lines across the side profile. Beginning at the front, they appear to cradle the headlamps, before flowing down the body, drawing closer and further away from each other, as if they were shaped by a gentle breeze. They wrap around the large intakes before one meets with the tips of the carbon fiber LED tail lamps, while the other cradles the opposite side of the lamps, echoing what you see in the front. At the leading edges of the front doors, you'll find 2 slender vents, curved and sculpted into the carbon fiber bodywork. They work to extract air out of the wheel wells, creating a negative pressure zone. This allows the car to be drawn further to the ground at higher speeds. In addition to subtle vent character lines extending across the doors, towards the top are milled aluminum Pagani emblems that incorporate LED turn signals. The lower rocker panels are designed to channel massive amounts of air to the rear brakes to assist in cooling the rotors and hubs. Another unique system can also help warm them for better performance in cold climates. The front brakes feature their own ductwork to keep thermal management in check. Underneath the Huayra are 2 negative pressure zones within the flat underbody. These, along with the rear diffuser, not only channel air more efficiently to the rear, but further draw the car closer to the ground, improving downforce and stability at higher speeds. Active aerodynamics give the Huayra the ability to generate net downforce on demand, negating the need for a large wing on the tail. Reminding me very much of the type of technology that you see on an airplane wing, is the first production car to feature such a system. Consisting of 4 hydraulically actuated carbon fiber flaps, 2 in the front and 2 in the rear, they can work independently to increase the drag coefficient from a slippery 0.31 to a maximum of 0.36. You can manually test them by flipping a toggle switch on the dash while sitting still, but only when you begin driving do they really come alive. Actions are based on various vehicle inputs such as how fast you're going, lateral g-forces, throttle input, yaw rate, and steering angle. Above 50 miles an hour, all flaps rise to about a 10-degree angle, aiding in stability at higher speeds. In cornering, the inside flaps rise to 20 degrees, helping push down the side of the car that typically tilts up in a corner, which also works to give the Huayra more neutral handling behavior and help negate body roll. Probably the only time you'll see them at their maximum angle of 40 degrees is under hard braking, where the flaps then act as air brakes. If that's not enough, an automatic hydro-pneumatic front suspension lift system automatically raises and lowers the car as needed for high-speed stability, reducing pitch and improving braking, in addition to providing clearance for speed bumps. For example, when braking hard, in addition to the active aero, the front lifts to reduce forward weight transfer, making far better use of the rear brakes. From the outside, you might assume that the Huayra doesn't have much in terms of cargo space, while in fact it has a number of clever storage solutions that make it quite a bit more livable than, say, a Bugatti Veyron or a Lamborghini Aventador. Buyers can opt for a 7-piece, custom-fitted set of Shadoni luggage, all at a price tag of €14,950, or about $16,900. They come tailored to the color of your leather and are decorated with carbon fiber, titanium bolts, and an aluminum Huayra logo. The 2 largest pieces, one for each passenger, store snugly within 2 carbon fiber compartments to either side of the engine bay. You have to lift the clamshell to gain access. Some of the smaller other pieces can actually be strapped in behind the seats by a small clasp just beneath the rear speakers. When removed, there's also a small leather storage pocket for more slender items. Overall length is 181.3 inches with a width of 80.2 inches and a height of 46 inches, running on a wheelbase of 110.2 inches, which is I believe 2.8 inches longer than the Zonda. It also weighs between 31 and 3,200 pounds with 56% of that weight over the rear axle. The Huayra is powered by a 60-degree twin-turbocharged and intercooled all-aluminum 6-liter V12, custom-built for Pagani by Mercedes-AMG. The V12 even has its own internal engine designation, M158, and is somewhat relatable to the power plant found in other AMGs such as the S65. Only in Pagani's case, the V12 develops an astonishing SAE-rated 720 horsepower at 5,800 RPM and 738 pound-feet or 1,000 Newton-meters of torque at 2,250 RPM. Torque actually remains the same as you would find in, say, an S65, but with quite a significant horsepower advantage. The Huayra is claimed to be able to hit 62 miles an hour or 100 kilometers per hour in 3.2 seconds, accelerating all the way to a 224 mile an hour top speed. The hand-built engine sits beneath a highly detailed group of engine shrouds, composed of bespoke anodized gold, aluminum, and carbon fiber, fastened to the engine by titanium bolts. The raised rib portions cover the intercoolers and act as expansion tanks for the cooling system. The ribs actually work to dissipate heat at a faster rate through a greater surface area. With AMG's one-man, one-engine building philosophy, each engine bears the technician's signature just like you would find in a typical AMG product. The all-aluminum engine features 36 valves, a single overhead cam design, port fuel injection, dry sump lubrication, and a red line around 6,000 RPM. Some highlights from AMG include an aluminum crankcase, forged crankshaft, and a multi-spark ignition system. Unique Huayra elements include new, smaller turbochargers designed for low-speed responsiveness and reduced turbo lag, revised ECU programming, as well as specially tuned intakes and intercoolers. An oil-water heat exchanger reduces warm-up times when cold while maintaining the temperatures of vital fluids. A two-stage fuel supply system uses one pump during normal driving, while the other begins working when the demand requires. The Huayra also receives a bespoke hydroform titanium Inconel exhaust. It's composed of 14 sections and weighs just 22 pounds, tuned to deliver a distinct rumble at idle and a sensation of a fighter jet taking off at higher speeds. It absolutely looks stunning in person with the bright blue heat-treated mufflers finished with the Pagani logo. A 22.5-gallon fuel tank sits behind the driver deep within the chassis and is reinforced by a safety cell made from a combination of reinforced composite and bulletproof Kevlar. Kevlar fuel lines separate from the engine compartment after an accident, leaving the lines clear and the tank locked off in the unfortunate event to help prevent fires. As far as fuel economy, with required premium fuel, the Huayra is rated between 10 miles to a gallon in the city and 14 on the highway. Like the exterior, the interior of the Huayra boasts many unique styling elements that tie in its classic craftsmanship with a fully modern aviation-themed cockpit. Everything that isn't wrapped in the highest quality leathers is either finished in aluminum, matte, or high-gloss carbon fiber, especially with the doors, which carry plenty of double stitching, titanium bolts, LED lighting, and a small leather storage pocket towards the bottom of the panels. The gull-wing doors extend into the roof, which allows plenty of headroom when climbing in. Pagani wanted the leather to evoke a soft feel that was reminiscent to a high-end lady's handbag, but had the extra durability to be used and sat in for the long term. Naturally, the seat structure is made of carbon fiber, and while not super plush, they are quite comfortable in terms of overall body and lateral support. Manual adjustments consist of sliding and reclining, in addition to height or thigh support via the small aluminum knob in the bottom cushion. A distinct open section in the upper backrest continues up to the fixed headrest. Like many other touches throughout, it's also in the shape of an oval. Another Pagani emblem greets the entry threshold of the carbon fiber tub. The steering wheel, like we talked about earlier, is manually adjusting via that aluminum lever to the left-hand side of the steering column. The floor mats are also entirely made of padded leather with double-stitched accenting and floor-mounted drilled aluminum sport pedals. Behind the seats, like we talked about earlier, is where you can put a couple of the optional pieces of luggage. Otherwise, there's small leather storage pockets. The luggage snaps in just below the rear speakers. You can also see some exposed carbon fiber in the lower bulkhead amongst the padded leather, in addition to the seat backs that also carries on up into the upper headrest. On either side of the dash, you have a felt-lined storage pocket for smaller things like cell phones and the like. The dash, windshield surround, and roof frame is finished in matte carbon fibers to not cause excess glare. allowing extra sunlight to come in as a set of tinted glass panels built into the gull-wing doors. So let's get some extended sound shots of that fantastic AMG V12 and titanium exhaust. Climbing on in really isn't too difficult. Probably the biggest hindrance for some is the tall height of the door handle. Just because of the position of the gull-wing door, you have to stretch up a little bit to grab it. So now let's go ahead and shut her up and check out the interior features a little bit more in depth. Probably the most intriguing aspect of the car's interior design are the milled aluminum instruments that glisten like high-end watch faces. Centered in between is a small LCD display that houses a driver information system. The center two gauges, a 260 mile-an-hour speedometer to the right and tachometer to the left, also house all of the various warning lights. In the bottom right you have your oil pressure and oil temperature, while the bottom left has vehicle temperature and fuel. A premium Pagani audio system comes as standard equipment with the option of truly high-end 1200 watt Sonus Faber surround sound, which is about 3 times more powerful than the standard system. Another nice piece of standard equipment is an LCD touchscreen infotainment system that also incorporates available navigation and a backup camera. The screen itself is nestled within a housing machined from a single 15-pound block of aluminum. You have slender leather-wrapped visors that follow the curvature of the windshield frame, not to mention an oval auto-dimming rearview mirror. Up in the map light section, also carved from a single piece of aluminum, you have 2 toggle switches that control the lights. They also gradually come on and off, and there's some ambient LED lighting. That launch switch at the top activates the vehicle's launch control system. Surprisingly enough, the infotainment system is actually pretty easy to use and also continues that oval theme. To the left-hand side, you have the different system functions including audio, hands-free Bluetooth telephone, a climate control screen, as well as settings where you can customize many aspects of the system, including a wide range of colors for the LED ambient illumination. You can control your power mirrors from the system, including both left and right, change the language, general settings, as well as region. Up in the top, you have a digitalized analog clock and your outside temperature. Heading back to audio screen, you have your station information in the middle, changing the band down below between AM and FM, as well as tune and seek. Off to the right, you have your audio adjustments and preset stations, activating the radio once more at the very top in addition to USB for MP3 integration. It really is pretty awesome how in-depth you can get with the color changing of the ambient illumination, changing the toggle switches above the screen, as well as the instrument cluster, pretty much to suit your mood or taste or really anything. There's a vast amount of colors available. The aviation-themed toggle switches in the middle correspond to your rear defroster, rear fog lamp, hazards, door locks, and testing the active aerodynamics to the far right. Another one of my favorite interior design elements are the controls in the bottom of the stack that correspond to your climate. They're made to mimic clarinet keys and again are made entirely out of aluminum. They have a great feel to them and give a nice metallic clink with every push. They really do feel like a musical instrument. Fan speed, different zones, front defrost, automatic mode, and temperature to the far right. It's a single zone climate control system. Carbon fiber central tunnel with lighter and ashtray, and as you continue on back you have the exposed gear linkages, more sculpted carbon fiber, and a carbon fiber and aluminum e-brake on either side of your window controls like I showed you earlier. Continuing on back, there's plenty of leather accents. Pull up on the little knob there and you have a felt-lined storage compartment, in addition to the one in between the seats towards the back.
Alrighty. We'll go ahead and shut her down. So, let's go and check out the rest of the vehicle.
The passenger seat also features the same manual adjustments that you find on the driver's side.
There is a carbon fiber glove box down below. Pull on the little lever to pop it open. Modest amount of space, lined in felt, little leather pocket right there, and leather binding for the owner's manual. You also have a small storage pocket on the passenger side, just like you have on the driver's.
The Pagani Huayra is an incredible piece of automotive engineering, seamlessly blending science and art into a very unique package. Limited to just 100 units, it'll forever be a classic and an icon towards craftsmanship. All in all, it's one of the finest and exclusive automobiles you could buy. If given the chance just to sit in one, you certainly won't forget it. It's unlike anything else out there on the road. So I hope you guys enjoyed the in-depth look at the Pagani Huayra. Be sure to stay tuned next time, there's a lot more where that came from. Take care, everybody.